Hi everyone, this is Ofer. In this video, I'm going to go over an unauthorized change prevention using ACLs. In previous video, I was focused on unauthorized change detection, which is a slightly different approach to handling unauthorized change. But here, we're going to focus on how to prevent changes from occurring in the first place. So the first step is to create two types of user. One is authorized user, and the other one is non-authorized user. So I'm going to start with creating an unauthorized user. So I'm just going to name it appropriately. And save the user information, and then give it the standard roles to enable access to the CMDB. So I'll give it the ITIL role and the item admin role for a good measure. So now I'll create the second user, which is an authorized user. And I'll give it the same roles. So now both the authorized user and the non-authorized user has the same access to the CMDB. To show that, I will impersonate the non-authorized user as an example to show the access to the CMDB. So we can see that if we navigate to a Linux server that we have in the CMDB and open the record, we'll see that we're able to modify every single attributes or every single fields that is available. So in order to apply proper ACLs, we need to create a role and a group. So we'll create a role and we'll call it CMDB writers. And this role is the only role that is allowed to write to the CMDB. I'll now create a group, CMDB writers group, and I will associate the role that we've just created to that group. And now I will associate the authorized user to the CMDB writers group. I'll refresh the page to see that the user is associated with the group. So now that we have the role, the group, and the user, we can create the ACLs. So I'm going to elevate permission. And I'll create a top-level ACL that will cover all the attributes of the CMDB CI class. So essentially, all the attributes that are involved in this class would be controlled by this ACL. So the only role that has access to all the attributes in the CMDB CI class and its children is the CMDB writer role. So now let's see how this ACL is working in practice. I'll stop the elevation, role elevation, and I'll impersonate the unauthorized user. Remember that the unauthorized user is not a member of the CMDB writers group, and doesn't have the role of CMDB writer. So therefore, you can see here that he's not able to access any of the Linux server CI fields. So now we're going to impersonate the authorized user and then verify that the authorized user is able to access all the fields per our ACL definition. So after impersonating the authorized user and going to the CI record, we can see that all the fields are write enabled. We have verified that our ACL works, but it has a problem because some of the ITIL users still need to have ability to write to some fields, not all the fields, but some of the fields, for example, the comment field. So we're going to create another ACL that will unmask the original overarching ACL and will allow ITIL users without the CMDB writer role to be able to write to the comments field. So you can see here that instead of selecting the star, I'm selecting the specific field, comments field, which will have precedence over the star. And here I don't set up the roles, which means that it opens to users without any particular role. So now that we unmasked the comments field, let's impersonate the unauthorized user and verify that the comments field is indeed unmasked. So we can see that it's editable here. As an administrator, I'm not bound to the ACL because there's a checkbox in the ACLs to either bound it to the admin role to the ACLs or not. But in this case, I'm able to change all the fields in the CI record. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to change all the fields and I'm going to run discovery just to prove that we're able to still discover even though we have the ACLs active. So here I'm going to go to the discovery schedule. I'm going to run it and verify that everything is populating the CMDB as expected. The discovery completed. Now we'll click on the CI, and indeed everything is populated as we expect it to be. That concludes the video about unauthorized change prevention using ACL masking. Hope you enjoyed it. Questions, comments, and suggestions are always welcome.